What up, y'all, and welcome to Road Atlanta for the fifth race in the 2023 FBRL Napa Truck Series season. We got 25 laps on tap for today's event, the first of two races in the state of Georgia in the next 3 weeks. Tib Foster is on pole for the first time this year, second time in his Truck Series career. He's got AJ Jones on his left. Charles Sanford and Huck Davis. Huck with another great qualifying effort. They are in row 2. Luke Martin and Ryan Griffin, a driver who dreads racing on this track, in row 3. Jordan Fisher, Bobo Jones, row 4, with Saden Davidson, the Sony Cup Series points leader, and Roberto Crown Jr. rounding out the top 10. Coming into this race, Luke Martin with a 17-point lead over Bradley Bishop Jr., who is known to be a great road course driver. BBJ starting there in row 7. Joseph Shrigley in the part-time truck for Spartan Motorsports, making the race this afternoon. Back to the points conversation. BBJ 17 back. Tib Foster, who's on pole, 33 points back. Tib with a win today, and no points from Luke Martin could tie Luke for the points lead. So that is the format we've got running here in the Napa Truck Series. Once again, top 20 get points. Leeches don't get any points. Owner points, though, are in effect for those teams regardless. We look towards the back half of the field. You got Arya Carmona, Bob Burns in the midfield. And then further back, some new drivers making their first starts of the season, such as Nate Champion there in the 84 for Single C Racing. So that is Nate's debut here this afternoon. And when you get back towards Provisional Land, you can see Austin Runkle, Randy Riggs Jr., Jacques Anderson, and Pedro Evo Lucas rounding out the starting grid. Let's go trackside for the command to fire engines.
Drivers, start your engines.
Good, fired up.
Nice sunny day here in Georgia. 80 degrees, southeast wind to 6 miles an hour. Fuel window, 12 to 14 laps, so pretty much right in the middle of the race is where you're going to want to pit. And the tire wear fall off is 2.5 to 3.5 seconds. Tib Foster and AJ Jones leading them to the green flag. Dubai winner was William Brock over Luke Martin. Green flag is out, and we are underway here at the Chaos track. Tib will clear AJ Jones through turn 1. They are side by side, still behind them for third and for fifth. The S's here. This will be the trouble spot for pretty much the entire race. Going side by side through here, never a good idea, as you see Luke Martin swerve into the grass, swerve back to the right. Somehow no contact is made. Edward Siemba swerving as well. He's going to go off track with Bradley Bishop Jr. Lap 1 calamity, and into the tires will go the 88 and the 80. More trouble. Dewey Schramm III has been spun around. Dewey Schramm III was in Go or Go Home for the first 4 races of the season. He's had 3 top 10s. Despite that, sits 7th in the points, but problems early on for the 9 as they head down the up and down long straightaway. Oh, more trouble. Austin Runkle and Ben McDonald get together. They're in the wall. Not sure what caused that. This is another potential trouble spot here. Heavy braking zone. Oh, and Glenn Mixon's been destroyed. He is sitting in a very dangerous position. They're going to get him off the track relatively quickly. Well, that was a lot of chaos on lap 1. Let's take a look at all of it. Taking another look at what happened with Edward Siemba. You see side by side with Roberto Crown Jr., and he just swung it wide, swung it back, and then Bradley Bishop Jr. got to his right side, and you see Dewey Schramm III get spun out right behind them. this camera work is not working. We'll have to get another angle of what happened to the 9. But as they moved on, a contact occurs here between Austin Runkle and Ben McDonald. Let's go to our trusty Helicam. See a little bit of contact there between the 13 and the 31, and then they're going to get held up behind Justin Johnson here, who I believe has damage. And they are 3 wide, squeezing each other, and just too much squeezing going on. And they kind of had to save, but Runkle just spun it a little too hard back to the right. Well, turned it rather too hard back to the right, and that got him in the wall and complete loss of traction there. But on goes the 31. Gonna see a similar thing here. Watch the 48 of Malik Nevins. This is the same thing as Siemba. Collides with Dewey Schramm III. Both of them spin around. Evans gets it back going a little sooner, but you see Arya Carmona still getting into him. Brandon Morris. Not sure what happened to Justin Johnson that got him off the pace. Maybe just a bad set of corners. I don't see any damage on the 08 truck. Last thing we want to take a look at is what happened to Glenn Mixon. You see he gets a little bump to Ricky Freeman Jr. That's going to happen a lot there going into that turn here today. And he gets off track a little bit, and oh, Bob Burns just hooks him hard into the concrete. And then Carmona nowhere to go. Hits the left front of the 38, and that was a vicious hit for Glenn Mixon. Hope he's okay. He'll be evaluated at the infield care center. That was a vicious hit. Take a look at this from the in-truck cam of Bob Burns. Really, it didn't look like there was going to be any contact there, and not sure if Mixon maybe came across the nose of the 70, just the teensy bit there that caused him to get spun out there, but that'll be an incident reviewed by the NTS officials. More problems on track. Luke Martin, Bobo Jones get together, and a hard hit into the tires for the 28 of Luke Martin and the 8 of Bobo Jones. Former Breeding Enterprises driver wrecked by a Breeding Enterprises truck. But it looked like Luke Martin kind of swung it back across the track there. So a tough break for the points leader, Luke Martin, out of the race already here on lap number 2. Got an onboard shot of this from the roof camera of Luke Martin. So he kind of misses the corner and then swings it back to the right, and contact occurs, and oh, a vicious lick into the tires for the 28. His race is over. Dewey Schramm III now racing Justin Johnson back here in 31st place after wrecking out of the top 20. And contact's going to be made with the 9 and the 08, turning Justin Johnson into the concrete. What was that about? And officials are definitely going to be looking at this one. See if we can't get another shot at this here in slow motion. It looks like Dewey just, the camera's moving, but it looks like Dewey just hooked the right into Justin Johnson there. Not sure what that was about. Maybe potential misjudge. I don't know. That looked pretty bad. But that spins Justin into the concrete. He'll keep going, but that was a vicious lick. Take a quick break from looking at all the carnage to show you what's going on at the front of the field. Tip Foster currently leads the way. About a half a second over AJ Jones. If you look at the ticker, you'll notice we are now tracking margins to the 3rd decimal place. Charles Sanford in 3rd, Huck Davis 4th, Ryan Griffin the top 5. Then Jordan Fisher, Saden Davidson, William Brock, who won at Dubai, Roberto Crown Jr., and Shade Eves. That's the top 10. What a run right now for the 57 of Roberto Crown Jr. Roberto not happy about being in go home territory once again, and a great run here today could really change things for the better for this 57 team. As with the point system, just getting like 10 points can put you up into the top 30 for a handful of races. So we saw Justin Johnson got 3rd at Daytona, missed the next 3 races, and was locked into the show for this one. And then same with Huck Davis. Huck Davis finishing 3rd, as Huck Davis just goes right into the tires. Right as we're talking about Huck Davis, boom, right into the tire barriers. Just to finish that point, Huck Davis got 3rd at Nashville Fairgrounds, and he was locked into this race. But something has just occurred. We'll take a look at that. Well, this is a similar story to what happened to Luke Martin. You're going to see Huck kind of miss the corner and then swing right, and he has no room from the 10 of Ryan Griffin, and it spins him right into the tires. Hard hit for the 36. Cornbread Ram. And his day is over. Hearing there was another incident towards the rear of the field involving Randy Riggs Jr. He just swung it wide and off of the 4 of Jock Anderson. Spins it around through the grass. And then it looks like he stalled it. That is quite peculiar there. I don't think I've ever seen a truck stall after a spin there. But he stalls it, gets it hung up on the curbing. He is going to need a tow. Aria Carmona is back on the track now without a hood. And a lap down as Blake Warren's going to swing into her and spin themselves out here. Oh, a vicious hit there from Toby Christie. That propped the right side of Carmona's truck up off the track. And more damaged race trucks now here at Road Atlanta. Traversing turns 10A and 10B is proving to be difficult today. A little contact off of Blake Warren for Austin Rogers, and then Dewey Schramm collides into Pedro Evo Lucas and spins the 82 off of the track. And they were 3 wide there, so Dewey Schramm the 3rd, I believe, really needed to give some extra room there, and that caused the 82 to get spun, so I believe the officials are going to look into this incident as well. 10A and 10B are proving quite difficult for the driver. You see Carmona kind of push Jock Anderson off onto the curbing there, and Anderson gets a little loose, comes back onto the track, has nowhere to go. And that spins Aria Carmona into the concrete. Quite a dangerous section of the track there is that bridge. As you've just got concrete up against the earth. And it's there's no tire barriers over there to protect these drivers. You've got gravel traps and tire barriers pretty much around the rest of the track, but that section right there after 10B is not the safest. As more drivers have fallen out of the top 10 due to incidents, let's move Shade Eves up to 9th. And Joseph Shrigley, for the part-time Spartan Motorsports entry, sits in 10th place. This team originally was planning on attempting Dubai, but couldn't get a truck together in time, so they have delayed their attempt starts here to Road Atlanta. So Joseph Shrigley behind the wheel for just this one race. Anthony Marchese and Samuel England set to run some races as well. Excuse me. There is an open race for the 64 truck, but they currently only have the plans to attempt 4 races. Joseph Shrigley doing a great job here, and just let Nelson Reeves on by, and I'm hearing there's an issue on the 64. Commentator's curse, question mark. 64's got a flat tire. From 10th place here on lap number 7, you can see doesn't seem to be too bad. He's able to gas it up on the straights, but he is losing a ton of time here, and with where he's going to have to pit for this, he is going to have to pit in extra time. So tough break for this team here on a part-time basis. Those points could have been crucial to have even held this truck in a provisional position down the line with how few points get paid out. But Shrigley is going to fall way back here, about to get run over by Bradley Ream. He'll bring it down to the pit lane to fix the issue. More issues here at the start of lap 8. The 71 of Toby Christie's engine has grenaded here. He is trying to find a way to get out of the way. Oh no, Aiden Smith, his teammate and team owner, just ran into the back of him. Jeff Bolton goes on by. Aiden, I don't know what he's doing. Ben McDonald just went by. Aiden just cost himself about 6 seconds. Trying to push Toby's battered truck down the hill through the S's. Now we had seen Toby hit the passenger door of Arya Carmona a while ago. Not sure if that helped induce this engine failure or if there was already an issue with the 71. But from 23rd place, on the verge of a couple more drivers falling to get into points, Toby Christie's race is over. Pit stops are closing in here, about 4 more laps or so. Fastest lap on the race so far, set by Saden Davidson, a 1:28.002. Never went over the practice times. Teams using a different tire compound here in the race versus practice. Fastest practice time was set by Dewey Schramm III. He set a 1:25.933. See the drivers here using a different tire compound, but still about 2.5, 3.5 seconds of tire fall off. Tib Foster's your race leader, still a 2nd and 2/10 over AJ Jones. Now, Tib Foster has 2 career wins in the Napa Truck Series, but both come on short tracks. So quite the show of skill here today for Tib. Getting it done, has led every lap so far here at Road Atlanta. AJ Jones is a pretty good known road course racer, and he is still here in 2nd place. Charles Sanford has won a couple races in the Sony Cup Series on the road courses. He's in 3rd. Ryan Griffin has been known to be terrible on the road courses in Sony Cup and hates them, dreads them. He's in P4 though, so not sure if that's a talent discrepancy here in the Napa Truck Series or if Ryan has finally found somewhat of a knack, as there's contact between AJ Jones and Arya Carmona. Where did she come from? Out of pit road, I'm hearing, merged in front of AJ Jones, and is going to cost him his 2nd place running position. That drops him side by side with Ace Wild for 13th. Oh, and they're going to race a little dicey contact between Wild and Bob Burns. They hold on to it. Everyone's straight. But something just happened there with Carmona coming out of the pit lane. Take another look at it from the helicopter. There you can see the 5 coming out of pit road. Gotta be mindful of the trucks on track, and just pulled right in front of the 42. Sending him off the track and out of 2nd place. And a ton of time lost for AJ Jones. And he is not happy. Want to give a shout out to Martin Motorsports driver Jerry Cook. This is his 3rd race behind the wheel. And he is currently running in 17th place. Jerry is a known road course racer in other series, and he is showing his talents here in the Napa Truck Series. As always, going to get into Bob Burns, and that hooks Ricky Freeman Jr. into the concrete. Cook also making contact with the concrete on the other side. Oh boy, that was dicey. We're going to have to get another look at that one. Just take a look at this in slow motion. You can see Jerry probably thought he was going to be clear here, and he just closed a little bit quicker on Bob Burns than he thought, and Burns was a bit to the left of Ricky Freeman Jr., so it hooked Ricky Freeman Jr. instantly. Hard hit for Ricky Freeman Jr., and then Jerry Cook is going to tap the concrete on the other side. Bradley Ream snaking his way through there as they go under the Suzuki Bridge. What a pretty good lick there for the 92. As mentioned, no safer wall and no tire barriers there. A vicious lick to the concrete for the 92, but Ricky Freeman Jr. is going to keep trucking. Here in Blaze McKinney has gone down pit road after contact with Arya Carmona, and this is what it was, closing rate under braking in the 10A. And that is a good bit of damage on Blaze McKinney, so you can see he really messed up his line through the 10s. Straight to pit road, he brought it. So I've been trying to go through the running order, but it seems like something keeps happening, and that deters us to something else. Jordan Fisher, Ryan Griffin, Charles Sanford, everyone that was behind AJ Jones up a position. So Fisher up to 4th now, Saden Davidson in 5th. Great run for Sony Cup Series driver, getting some extra track time here this afternoon in the Napa Truck Series. See William Brock in 6th. Roberto Crown Jr., man, what a day for him. Currently 7th, has just kind of been vibing, surviving in this great Clips number 57. Shade Eves in 8th, trying to get the 39 team some good points on the owner's side. Nelson Reeves for Team Velocity in 9th place. Oh, Josh Crash up the P10. If you look outside the rest of the points, you got JD Martin, Ace Wild, AJ Jones now 13th, Bob Burns 14th. Bradley Ream, same with his teammate Roberto Crown Jr., has just been riding and surviving. He is 15th right now. Jerry Cook up to 16th as McKinney has pit. Brandon Morris, this is his 4th start in the truck. He's got 1 start left as he is running full-time in Sony Cup. So we'll see him potentially at Atlanta, and then that'll be it. Nate Champion up to 18th place. Jeff Bolton 19th as Alexa Lushon now sits in 20th, and I'm hearing there was another incident. This is likely from the damage he sustained. Ricky Freeman Jr. kind of in the way, racing with teammate Nate Champion, and just kind of runs him off onto the curb a bit. And another hard hit for the 92 that involves Alexa Lushon as well. Ben McDonald, Aiden Smith slow up. That's a reminder, that's a dangerous spot, kind of a blind hill there. You can't see anything after the bridge there from the cockpit. So spotters and drivers doing great work to avoid calamity there, but Ricky Freeman Jr. with a 2nd hit to the concrete, and his day is over. He is definitely going to have to head to the infield care center to get checked out. Those were some vicious hits to the wall. Well, it seems as those things have kind of imploded for Single C Racing here today. Josh Crash is going to miss the corner that we've seen others miss, and he hooks himself off of JD Martin and ends his race. So just seconds after the Nate Champion, Ricky Freeman Jr. incident occurs, Josh Crash lives up to his name, and he crashes out here at Road Atlanta. Hearing that race leader tip, Foster is expected to come into pit road this time by. He's got a almost 2-second lead over Charles Sanford. You can see on the top right fall off about 2.5 seconds. Good time to pit here, so Tip Foster and the 47 team electing to go for the undercut. Charles Sanford is going to follow him into pit road. We'll see if anyone stays out here. Looks like Jordan Fisher will. Ryan Griffin, Saden Davidson also stay out on the racetrack. Roberto Crown Jr., Shade Eves, Nelson Reeves. Following Tib and Charles Sanford in, you got William Brock. AJ Jones is going to pit. He might have some damage to repair. Nate Champion's going to bring it in. So not a ton of drivers here on the undercut. Ben McDonald, Pedro Evo Lucas, who has somewhat survived. Same with Austin Rogers and some others. Now here's Joseph Shrigley. Now remember, he pit back on lap 7 due to a flat tire. I'd say that cost him about 10 or so seconds from 10th place. So we'll see where he comes out here. He's been running on these tires by himself for the last 6 laps. And he is going to come out behind the one of William Brock. We'll see exactly where that places him. Jordan Fisher inherits the lead. Tib Foster still led that last lap there by half a second down the pit lane. So lap 13 here. Will anyone dare stay out another lap? Jordan Fisher is going to come in looking like Ryan Griffin. Zayden Davidson going to follow in line. Start-finish line's right here at the entrance of pit road, so you enter pit road from the lead, you can practically leave the lap. So Fisher will get his first lap led of the race. It looks like everyone is coming in here. Carmona, a couple laps down, going to stay on track. But it looks like everybody's pretty much coming in here, except for Randy Riggs Jr. We know he's several laps down. So here's Tib Foster. As he comes around on the track, he'll hit the start-finish line. See where he comes out in all of this. We'll watch. So Tib in the lead, Charles Sanford second, Fisher third, William Brock's going to jump up to fourth, Griffin fifth, Zayden sixth, Shrigley will be seventh, just ahead of Roberto Crown Jr., Shade Eves in ninth, and I believe Blaze McKinney there is on the lead lap, so he will sit in 10th place. AJ Jones has Bob Burns pull out in front of him. Coming up turn one. A little bit of deja vu there. Made sure not to run into the back of the 70. This is another thing we are watching for here. Want to make sure no one runs into anybody once again, but it looks like everybody is good, so we'll get back to the front of the field. Hearing Dewey Schramm the third is going to get hooked here by Pedro Evo Lucas. Oh, it was going down the hill. He just ran him over. Oh, and a vicious hit from Austin Rogers straight into the tires. That's got to be the worst hit I've seen all day. Off the 9, straight into the tire barriers. And we're hearing the officials are going to let them keep it green. They were thinking about throwing the yellow here for a second, but have opted not to. They've been able to get Austin Rogers out of harm's way. And there is an opening right over there, so we stay green. Got an in-cam shot. Austin Rogers, you can see he sees the 11 and the 9 racing. They drop out of sight. Next thing he knows, Dewey is being spun out, and maybe he thought he was gonna miss it, but man, that was a lick. Hope Austin is a-okay. Add insult to injury here for Jacques Anderson. Just came out of pit road. He's got a flat tire from 28th position. He will have to limp it back to the pits and pit once again. Riding on board with William Brock as he closes up on Fisher, who's just come out of pit road, and Brock is going to pull a Blaze McKinney here, run into the back of Jordan Fisher. And Brock's going to pull it down pit road. Man, that's a tough break. Undercut had gotten him up to 4th place, and the damage is going to force him down pit road. So a very tough day here for Coyote Autosport. Just the entire stable running into things, getting wrecked. Just a very, very tough day for the organization. So as it stands, a 3.2 second lead for Tib Foster over the 56 of Charles Sanford. 5.8 seconds back is the 6 of Jordan Fisher. First of the trucks on the overcut strategy. As Dewey Schramm III has run out of gas from his incident in the final corner. He's in a pretty dangerous spot there, but it looks like everyone is making it around him. Brian Griffin in 4th, Zayden Davidson 5th, also on the overcut. Joseph Shrigley is currently in 6th place, but you can tell he's at a severe tire disadvantage. But he's just making that truck as wide as he can, but Shrigley, we know, will likely have to come into pit at some point in time. Roberto Crown Jr. currently is in 7th, all up his bumper, kind of pushing him down the straightaway here. And Roberto is going to make a move here for 6th place. What a day for Roberto Crown Jr. 8th place is Shade Eves. 9th is Blaze McKinney. Not sure if he can make it to the finish with where he pit for his damage. He pit on lap 10, so it might be a stretch for the 44. Nelson Reeves is right behind him here in 10th place. JD Martin's kind of just been minding his own business all day. He's a known dark horse racer on the road courses. He sits in 11th. Ace Wild in 12th. AJ Jones 13th. Bob Burns 14th. Bradley Ream 15th. Jerry Cook 16th. Brandon Morris 17th. Jeff Bolton is 18th. Ben McDonald in 19th place. And William Brock, after beating down the hood, has still got a shot to get some points here. He is currently in 20th. Don't look now, Tib Foster fans. Jordan Fisher is closing the gap. Has closed a second over the last 2 laps here. Got this great view of the elevation changes here at Road Atlanta from this front bumper camera of Jordan Fisher. But Fisher catching, he knows catching is one thing at a road course, passing is another thing. And he doesn't just have Tib Foster to catch and pass. He's got Charles Sanford to get by as well. But the one good thing for Fisher is that his nearest competition on the pit strategy of him, 2.5 seconds back, is the 10 of Ryan Griffin and the 29 of Saden Davidson. But you can see the distance here in the braking zone. Fisher closing the gap to Charles Sanford. And it could just be a matter of time for the 6th. Let's see what the margin here is this time by. 4.8 back at the leader, 2.3 back of Sanford. Change it to 1.6 back of Sanford, who is losing time to Tib Foster. Jordan Fisher, though, only gaining a 1/10 of a second that time by to the 47. Joseph Shrigley is really stacking up a couple drivers here. JD Martin, Nelson Reeves, and Ace Wild racing for 8th position here, really stacking them up. Nelson going to try to make a move on JD Martin. No! He gets loose, spins it into Ace Wild. Oh, man. And Team Velocity, who's already had a tough day with Dewey Schramm III, just saw Nelson Reeves wreck it out of a top 10. And they took Ace Wild. He took Ace Wild with him. And while Wild might be on Monster Energy Racing, remember, he was slated to run for Team Velocity in the Sony Cup Series. It was a mutual decision not to pursue that endeavor. Team owner Zach Rogers holding nothing against Wild for his move, and the last thing you want to see is a person that's a competitor that you consider a friend off the track get wrecked by one of your own trucks. So tough break there as AJ Jones and Bradley Ream get into it. Wild turns it down the pit road. Good thing he was doing that. I don't know. He might have gotten into the 12 there. But Bradley Ream's peaceful race from about 15th position just hit concrete. And that 12 truck is destroyed. AJ Jones also down the pit lane. They were dicing it up with Blaze McKinney, who was on older tires for position. You can see here AJ going wide, Bradley going wide. Bradley kind of knocks him onto the curbing, and then when AJ comes back onto the track, there's just no space, gets together, turns him into the concrete. Not sure if you could really pin that on anyone. That's the second time AJ's been run into, and he just angrily, I think, brought it straight down pit road. His potential rebound into a top 10 position has just gone away. Not too far behind that incident were 2 drivers looking to get into the points. Pedro Ivo Lucas and Aiden Smith, 21st and 22nd. And this happened. A brutal hit for Pedro, and his race is over. That truck is up in smoke, destroyed. That is a tough break was just about to get into the points there, top 20 possibility there after getting into this race on a provisional. Just been kind of riding for most of the day. But his day is now over. Tib Foster just lost a second of his lead over Charles Sanford and Jordan Fisher as he has caught Bradley Bishop Jr. and Edward Siemba. And he tried to make a move off camera there on the 88 to get by him. Couldn't make the move. Lost a bunch of time. And while Charles Sanford isn't someone he will really have to worry about as he's been pulling a gap on the 56, Jordan Fisher's the one you really didn't want to give that time up to here. 5 laps to go. Tib has dominated this race. He's led all but a single lap. Fisher has been kind of just riding 5th, 4th, 3rd the entire race. Zayden Davidson's made it by Ryan Griffin for 4th position. Rest of your top 10 now: Roberto Crown Jr., Shade Eves, JD Martin, Bob Burns, Blaze McKinney up to 10th. We're hearing might be short on fuel. Oh, and look at that. Jordan Fisher just ran into Charles Sanford, and it's a bit of a bump and run. Gets him to swing left in 10B. And Jordan Fisher just took 2nd place with a short track move on a road course. And now if you're Tib Foster, Malik Nevin's going to come out of pit road here right behind 2nd and 3rd. But if you're Tib Foster, you better run, because there is nobody between you and Jordan Fisher. And Jordan Fisher is hungry to get his first win with Martin Motorsports and Mitsubishi. Fisher 3rd on the all-time wins list with 5 wins, including an exhibition win, the Battle of the Beach last year. You know Jordan Fisher has the talent. We've seen it here with that championship last year for Anjato, and the skills he's displayed in the Hardee's National Series as well for his own team. Winning a race at Kentucky, I believe it was, last year. So Jordan Fisher, how much time can he close here? Jerry Cook now up to P10. So we start 3 laps to go. And the gap is down 0.6 of a second. So Tib Foster, if he's got anything to get by Bradley Bishop Jr. or Edward Siemba, he better get it done now. Hearing there was an incident about a lap ago here. Watch Nelson Reeves try to make it 3 wide, and it spins him and Blaze McKinney out, and then he gets hit by the 4 of Jacques Anderson. That was an aggressive move by Nelson Reeves, trying to make up for lost time. Creates more lost time. Knocks them all down the running order by a couple of seconds. As Joseph Shrigley, if I can find him. Shrigley had pit. There he is. 4 left side tires. And that drops Shrigley down outside of the top 20. As we come to 2 laps to go, just want to shed light on the fastest lap set today. Brandon Morris, a 1:27.910 for the 55. That is an impressive lap from someone who has run mostly part-time over the years. He currently sits in 11th place, but 2 laps to go here. The margin is down to 1.8 seconds for Tib Foster over Jordan Fisher, and he is still stuck behind the 88 of Bradley Bishop Jr. and the 80 of Edward Siemba. He's going to try to make a move here through the S's. I don't recommend that. He's going to swerve right, swerve left, and Jordan Fisher is in sight. That little maneuver right there about cost him a full second over the 6. Jordan Fisher is there and in striking distance. Are we about to get Dubai all over again? Remember, Luke Martin led all but 3 laps of the Dubai Grand Prix. And it came down to a last turn pass by William Brock that cost Luke Martin the race. We've seen great things out of Tib this season. He sits 3rd in the points with a top 5, 3 top 10s, an average finish of 9.5. He has been starting up at the front. White flag is out. Can Tib hold off the defending champion of Jordan Fisher? There you see it, a second lost. That lap by. He's kind of pulled some of the gap back. I don't know if that's from draft off the 80 and the 88, or if he can feel the pressure and he knows he's got to hit these corners the best to his ability. Charles Sanford is back up 1.6 seconds, but is there really anything he can do? Zayden Davidson's got a bumper full of Malik Nevins back there who's not even for position. And then Ryan Griffin rounds out the top 5. Through turn 6 and then into turn 7. Fisher is closing the gap. High-speed section of the track. Draft. Gonna be big here. Tibbs got it too, though. It's not just Jordan Fisher. Who can outbreak the other into 10A? Is Jordan Fisher close enough to make a move? Tibbs gonna pull left to block a potential move there. Just kind of peeking the nose on Bradley Bishop Jr. Fisher is close, but he's not gonna have enough. Under the Suzuki Bridge they go, and for the first time in his career, Tib Foster gets it done on a road course. He wins at Road Atlanta, 3rd win of his Napa Truck Series career. Becomes the 8th driver to have won 3 times in Napa Truck Series history. That'll give Monster Energy Racing their first win of the year in the Napa Truck Series. 2nd all-time for the team, and extends Ram's record on the manufacturer win side. 23rd win for Dodge Ram here in series history. Fisher gave it all he had, but he needed one more lap. Charles Sanford comes home 3rd. A little bit of momentum there for him at the end. He closed the gap back up to 1.1 second. Zayden Davidson, good run for the 29 truck. That's going to help them a lot in the owner point side. Same for the 56. For Charles Sanford there, of course. Leach is not able to get points on the driver's side. Ryan Griffin, P5. So Tib, Fisher, and Griffin, the 3 in the top 5 earning points today. Roberto Crown Jr., man, 6th place. That is a huge run for that team. That should lock him in for a couple races. Shade Eves, 7th, giving the 39 good points on the owner's side. J.D. Martin, solid day. Bob Burns, 9th. And then Jerry Cook, the rookie from Martin Motorsports, with a 10th place result. Not without some controversy. And then looking at the rest of the drivers earning points, Blaze McKinney and Austin Runkle Pitt there coming to the finish. Or coming to the white flag, rather. And that propelled some drivers back up into the top 20. Brandon Morris, 11th. Jeff Bolton, 12th. Ben McDonald, 13th. Nelson Reeves, 14th with several issues. William Brock, 15th. Same story. Aiden Smith, 16th. Alexa Lushon, 17th. Joseph Shrigley comes home 18th. Nate Champion on debut, a 19th place finish. And Ace Wild ends up getting 1 point. So We had a ton of drivers retire from this one. Only 30 trucks finished the race. And a tough break for a lot of drivers. We'll have updates on Glenn Mixon, Ricky Freeman Jr., and Austin Rogers when we get them. And the penalty report is extensive. You will see who is getting what for penalties here in the race results. Race results are official or unofficial pending possible appeals. But there are 6 drivers getting penalties here today for incidents on the track at Road Atlanta. But that's all I've got for y'all. In 2 weeks' time, we head over to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the second race here in the state of Georgia for the doubleheader. And this year, it's the Atlanta 150, so 100 laps of action around the 3-groove track of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Should be a fun one. Can Monster Energy Racing pull the Silver Fox Motorsports and go back-to-back? We'll find out. Or will somebody else take home the checkered flag? It's been quite the competitive season so far. 5 races, 5 different winners. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time at Atlanta for the Atlanta 150. Tib Foster is your winner here today in dominating fashion. Peace out.
Tell you what I'm thinking. Pause the time with me while I get in my feelings. I'ma put it on the table, just listen. Life will repeat, like syncopated beats. If I said I was okay, I'd be lying through my teeth. So many pitfalls that knock me off my feet. I get back up to the beat. I could have stayed down. I can let it all take hold of me. I could have laid down. Yeah, someone once said, if I chase my dreams and I face my demons, I'll feel good in my head. I'll defeat all the monsters living in my closet, creeping up under my bed. Every night they watch me and they're taunting.